What is your monthly budget?
How old are y'all?
Biggest pet peeve. Do you two have children?
It's not a secret. There's nothing secret about us.
That's probably one of our biggest regrets.
Yep. We are going to be traveling around.
How you make van life sustainable long term. It has been over a year since we did our last Q&A, and a lot of things have changed around here, so we thought that we would make a video catching up with you all. You submitted some really tough and great questions through all of our social media platforms, which we're gonna answer today. Things are gonna get a little juicy, a little raw. We're gonna cover everything from our backstory, money, kids, travel plans, you name it. We've got a lot for you. So how about we get into it?
And if you're new here, I'm Brian. Emily's behind the camera, and running around checking the perimeter of camp is our adventure dog Wez. In 2024, we left our jobs to travel full-time in our van Gertie, which leads us into our very first question.
What got you both doing this adventure? Which of you first came up with the idea of quitting your jobs and going all in, and what was the reaction of the other? I think to really explain this, I have to start by saying that life is short, and unfortunately, I lost both of my parents at way too young. And after that, it kind of planted a seed that we wanted to do something other than just work until we were retirement age. So in 2022, we actually took a trip to Iceland. We rented a van and drove around the country, and we fell in love with van life. And that really is when that seed started growing rapidly. We came back from Iceland, and every night I was scrolling Instagram, used van websites, even looking at Revels to see what could potentially be out there. And then one night I saw our van and I couldn't say no. The price was right. It was cheaper than a lot of Revels. It was cheaper than some of the used vans that we were seeing. And it's like everything just kind of clicked together.
We really love the layout too.
So I approached Brian with this crazy idea. We need to get this van, and could we swing it? And there were some opportunities that had come up with some investments that we had made that were going to be, pretty smart for us and allowed us to actually save up enough money where we could travel full time. So I don't think you had any problems with it.
My reaction, I had a good job, but I wasn't in love with it. So it was pretty easy for me to say, let's do it.
Yeah. The next question actually has to do with jobs. So let's talk about jobs. What profession were you guys in prior to YouTube? Brian, don't say a professional drummer in a rock band. I believe you talked about being in the military. At what branch and for how long?
I was active duty Army infantry for 4 years, from 95 to 99. Then I did some time in the reserves. During the reserves, I did spend a year in Iraq, and so that was that. I got home in 2004, a long time ago. And then before this, I was the site facility coordinator at our middle school in our little town. I was basically responsible for the building, the grounds, the custodians, work orders, stuff like that.
And for myself, I had started working at a healthcare consulting group when I was actually still getting my undergrad in college when I was 21 years old. I worked there for 2 decades and led a small team there on the marketing and online continuing education side. And I loved that job. It was a great job. They were like my family, but with some corporate changes, it also was time to maybe move on and pursue something different. Someone wants to know, don't think we have heard the story of the name Gertie. Where did we get the name Gertie?
Gertie. We had a few names.
Yeah,
We were
tossing around.
For some reason, Gertrude just sounded like a fitting name for her big van. Big, strong, she's mean. So yeah, I like Gertrude, and then we shortened it to Gertie.
And now it's just Dirty Gertie.
Dirty Gertie.
Because most of the time she's dirty. Another question from Mark and Molly, same folks. How would you pronounce this name? E-L-L-E space B-E-A. A-B? L-E-B? Is this going to be the name of your van? I know you guys are getting your Nuvo in a couple of weeks. We're so excited for you. You'll have to let us know below if this is the name of your van. How old are y'all?
I will be 49 in
a couple weeks.
Couple weeks.
And I just turned 43. And Wez, is almost 14.
No.
Hi, buddy. Do you two have children? My wife and I were unable to, and similar ages as you two. Just wondering, as I don't think I've seen kids mentioned in the past. No, we don't have kids, and our story is probably pretty similar to yours.
Not from a lack of trying. Just never happened.
Just never happened for us, and if it did, like spontaneously, I know that we would be so excited and embrace it. But at 43, my internal clock is also ticking a little bit, so I don't know if that's going to be in our cards.
Might just be fur babies from here on out.
And we're okay with that. Well, I guess we should probably say what we're doing. It's lunchtime, and if you guys have been following us long enough, you might be able to guess what we're about to make up.
What is it?
One of our favorites.
Who won today?
We'll talk about that later. Next question. Will you continue to keep your house in Lake Tahoe? If yes, will you rent it out again? We will absolutely be keeping our house in Lake Tahoe. It is a big investment for us. It is also kind of our retirement. And at this point, we don't feel like we want to rent it out. It's not saying that we wouldn't do that in the future, but with Wez getting older and older, we just always want a safe place to land. If he decides that one day, he just doesn't want to travel, and if we get that sense at all, we will gladly let him live out his golden years with a nice comfy house and a big yard to do his squirrel patrol on.
And it's also nice to have somewhere to reconnect with friends or just hit the reset button every now and then.
I agree.
What resources do you use for finding dispersed camping, BLM, dump stations, and route planning?
This is such a great coincidence because you may have seen we actually did a dedicated video on exactly this topic. Earlier this week, it was our midweek video, and we go over all of the apps that we use, how we use them, and also how we would rate them. So if you haven't seen that video, I'll go ahead and link it up here for you. You three have certainly covered a lot of territory. I'm curious to know if you've ever arrived in a spot and found there was something about it that made the hair stand up on the back of your neck, not because of humans or wildlife, but something else. A feeling of being watched, a sense of unease. You get my drift. Obviously, I'm still in full-blown Halloween mode.
For me, I always forget the name of the lake. You'll have to help me. But there was one particular spot in Canada on a lake.
Kluane in the
Yes. It was almost too quiet there. Always pretty windy. I always felt like there were eyes on us, whether human or big bears. But that's the one spot that I just never really dug it that much.
Have you ever been afraid of a campsite or anyone at a campsite who's camping by you all?
There was a spot in Oregon, I believe it was on the Elk River. It was one of our first stops when we started full-time van life. And there was a group of people, they were definitely living there, and they were doing maybe some questionable things. Everything was fine. It never turned into anything. There was the spot where we got the 5 a.m. knock from a guy that wanted to know what time it was. He had been dropped off at that campground sometime that night, and he was definitely drunk.
Yeah, he wasn't right in the head. We have a whole video on that. We actually got on camera, and we'll link it up here for you guys. So if you didn't get to watch that video, you can catch up with it. Super curious how you make van life sustainable long term. Do you work from the road, save up beforehand, or have another setup that makes it possible?
I mean, we definitely planned this out, and we have a savings.
It took years to get to the point to where we are right now. It wasn't something that happened overnight. As I mentioned earlier, we had some investments that were pretty smart, and that allowed us to put some in savings and say, okay, we can travel on the road for probably 1 to 2 years in the van. And if we have to go back to work and get real jobs again after that, it will have been a great experience. And that is still kind of where we are today. You know, we're trying to make YouTube and content creation work as a career long-term. We would love to do this long-term. We would absolutely love to do it. But at the end of the day, there's not as much money in that space as you may think that there is. We get some money from YouTube, AdSense, We have the wonderful, supportive Patreon community that we love so much. And you've probably noticed that we're starting to work with some more brands. You know, we don't want to dilute the value of our videos, but when you see a sponsored segment in one of our videos, whether it be a 60-second brand kind of highlight or if it is a dedicated review video, the reason that we're doing that is because that is going to help us keep the wheels turning on the van. And we hope that you know we would never do anything that we didn't fully believe in, or a brand that we didn't get really excited about working with that was already in the van space. So you may see some more of those as we do try and make this a sustainable career for us long term. Do you have or use any fuel apps? If so, which one is your favorite?
I don't know if I would call it an app, but we have the Safeway rewards you get for shopping at Safeway, which gives us discounts at Safeway gas stations when they're available, and most Chevrons also honor the Safeway rewards. And there was also Fred Meyer up in the Pacific Northwest, same thing. What about Love's? We do have a Love's account.
This is a really popular question. What is your monthly budget? And I just have to say, this is going to vary significantly for everyone and your specific circumstances. If you're traveling alone, if you're traveling with someone else, where in the country you're traveling, and just kind of some other lifestyle factors. But do want to give you a baseline of what our monthly budget is. We do have our home in Tahoe. I'm not going to include any of those expenses in this. So I'm not including our monthly mortgage payment or any utilities that are related to the house. This is just all specifically related to living on the road in our van. So monthly in fixed costs that don't change. So insurance for the van, my healthcare insurance. Brian has the VA insurance, so he doesn't need to have separate health insurance, which is wonderful. Cell phones, satellite, and subscriptions, things that we use to put these videos together, music subscriptions and whatnot. We have about $1,500 in fixed costs. For fuel, depending on how much we're driving or where we're driving, if we're in an expensive state or not, that's between $500 to $1,000. For groceries, between the two of us, it's usually about $1,000 a month. Laundry and showers, I would say, is probably $75 a month. For accommodations, this is something that can also vary significantly. If you're around a lot of public land and you're camping for free, this will be much lower. But if you're in a place that doesn't have a lot of public free camping and you have to be staying at campgrounds or RV parks, this cost will obviously go up. For us, it ranges between $200 and $1,000 per month. For state parks, things we want to visit, museums and whatnot, we probably spend about $100 a month on that. For Wez, we buy him really good high quality food and teeth treats so that he can keep his pearly whites. That's about $250 a month. In van supplies like DEF, cleaning, toilet stuff, that's probably about $100 a month. And then for eating out and entertainment, so going to coffee shops, breweries, going to see the movies, or just an experience in a certain location, for us, that's about $1,000, bringing our total monthly expense just for living on the road in the van to about $5,000. But that can vary significantly, like I said, if you have some maintenance that comes up, or if you're doing anything to the van, or if you have a health issue that you need to be seen for, that obviously will make your money go up. We did get a follow-up question to this asking if we would do a full breakdown of the entire year of our expenses. I don't know if we will do that because it can vary so much from person to person, but we also don't want to gatekeep anything from you guys. And if it is something that would help you get on the road or feel like you can plan to get on the road and start van life, drop a comment, let us know below, and we'll work on putting something together for you guys, whether it be in a blog or a video. With limited space in a van and a desire for outdoor cooking like this, which items are a must? Can you please rate your top 3 and which is a bust?
I mean, number 1 has to be the scuttle. It's so fun to cook with. You can do almost everything with it. You can even make popcorn with it.
Yeah, popcorn's fun on this.
The induction stovetop for the nights that we have to cook inside really does come in clutch. And then the Dutch oven.
Yeah, Obviously, that's campfire dependent. You have to be able to have fires to cook in the Dutch oven, but it's one of our favorite ways to cook. We did actually get a question about what size Dutch oven we have because it's perfect for the two of us, which it really is. We have the 8-inch 2-quart Lodge cast iron Dutch oven, and I'll link it for you guys in the description below.
Honorable mention. I would say the Blackstone, the Camp Edition. I don't remember the exact name of it. So a part of this actually broke on us in Alaska. We had friends visiting with us. We needed a way to cook outdoors with them. So we did pick up a Blackstone. Unfortunately, it was a non-stick version. It wasn't the cast iron, but I've gotten used to it. I do love that thing. It makes great breakfast for large groups. So definitely honorable mention to Blackstone.
And as far as things that we just wouldn't use, is our little mini air fryer. We just don't use it that much. And I think I'd rather replace it with something that we might use more.
How come you two are always standing up when you eat? I don't sit. I never sit when I'm at camp. Unless I'm in the van and we've made an inside meal and we have the little table out. I don't know. I like standing. I'll probably stand to eat lunch today.
This one pains my soul. Emily, did you win the soft shell versus hard shell taco debate?
What are we having today?
It's ongoing. It's ongoing. Oh, man, we got some people that are funny. The next one's for you, babe. When can we teach Brian how to appropriately use an AeroPress?
Oh, geez. This again. I mean, I swear, I've looked online and am I doing it backwards?
I think he might be doing it backwards.
I don't think I'm doing it backwards, but it works and it tastes good.
Are you going to make a cookbook using all your delicious recipes? First of all, this is such an amazing compliment that you would even want a cookbook with our recipes. So thank you so much. We really appreciate that. I would love to do that one day. In the meantime, we do have a lot of our recipes up on our Patreon and then also some select ones over on our blog. I'll make sure to put the links for both of those down in the description if you want to check them out. But really, thank you for actually being interested in wanting some of our recipes.
You're a good cook, Ben.
It would be fun. I think it'd be fun. It'd be a project, but it would be fun. Ooh, where have you found green chilies?
Not at our local Rayleigh's, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, we can find green chilies, but they don't have any 505.
Yeah, they don't have the 505. They do have this stuff that we found today that is from New Mexico. And I'm pretty sure, actually, I know I've had this before. It's really good.
Yeah.
But no 505 at our local store.
And we're not sponsored by 505, but you guys hear us talk about them in like every single video. If you think maybe we should be sponsored by 505, drop a comment below.
505!
I'll screenshot them all and I'll send them a 505. See if we can get some product delivered to our door.
Heck yeah.
Ooh, I love this question. What fave recipes have you adapted for van life? For example, I can't wait to try your lasagna soup. So anything in soup form or one pot form is great. Lasagna soup is one. Taco soup, we have a really great taco soup recipe as well. I love the Indian buttered chicken recipe that you can make in one pot. Just add a bag of frozen cauliflower rice in there. You get your veggies in there. And then also one that I'm maybe a little bit embarrassed to say is I love a good shepherd's pie. And there's really no way we don't have an oven. We have made it in the Dutch oven before, but when you can't cook outside, I have found a way to make it inside using instant potatoes.
We've also gotten really good at tacos.
We've gotten really good at tacos. Wes, the next questions are about you, buddy.
Hey, bud.
What are you doing over there? Oh,
He has freedom today. He loves it.
he does. Question we get often asked is, what breed is Wes?
So when I first got him, I thought he was just a wonder mutt. I thought he was going to have all kinds of different breeds in him. We finally did the DNA test a couple years ago. Come to find out, he is half Labrador, half Australian Shepherd, and it really makes so much sense.
Yeah, he's a good boy. How many girlfriends does Wes have? And are there any little fur babies from his relationships?
Unfortunately, Wes was fixed when I got him. I would love nothing more than to have a little puppy Wes, but it's not in the cards. He does have quite a few girlfriends. He's got 5 I can think of. like some long-term girls.
He's also got some boyfriends too, let's be honest.
He doesn't know what's going on.
Does Wes sleep with you guys, or does he have another favorite sleeping spot?
In the van, Wes sleeps on my legs, and he also gets about half of my blankets, so I always have a really cold back at home.
Hey, he sleeps on my legs just as much. He does. He trades sides.
At home, he has like 4 different beds and our bed. I love when he sleeps with us. We know he's safe and warm and cozy.
And that really is just his only sleeping spot in the van. He'll sleep on the little bench sometimes, like when we're out doing something. That way he can make sure that he's looking out the window to see where we're at. Things you wish you had taken on the road versus those you wish you hadn't.
Ooh. If anything, I wish I had a mountain bike or a small motorcycle.
I told Brian he can get a small motorcycle when we get to 100,000 viewers.
Not even close. So I would love a mountain bike one day. That's probably the one thing I wish I had taken.
I'd really love to get into fly fishing. I think that would be so cool. But we don't have a rod or setup. So maybe someday, maybe that'll be in the future.
Yeah.
For things that we don't think that we needed. The air fryer, like I mentioned earlier.
Air fryer, we've probably used our chainsaw twice. It has to go up top, so it's not the easiest to get to. It also makes a big mess with the oil, the chain oil. So I always have to wrap it up in a couple trash bags. So I'll probably be leaving that, especially where we're headed this winter. I don't think we're gonna need it.
Yeah. Is this ready?
I think we're ready.
All right. Let's
some veggies and
take a break.
Oh, we forgot the salad.
Oh.
No lettuce for these tacos.
Street tacos it is.
That's okay.
All right. Let's take a quick break and eat, yeah?
Okay. These are my favorite kind of taco. Crispy shell, some meat. There's Parmesan on the shell. I like put cheese first. There would usually be some iceberg lettuce on here, but got that. Little tomato, onions. Definitely some 505 if you can get it, but I will be more than happy with some Hatch green chili. I call these firehouse tacos. Coincidentally, these are how my mom made them growing up for me, and this is also how Emily's dad made them, minus the green chilies. He was a firefighter. Here's to Eugene, firehouse tacos for the win.
You forgot your olives.
You are right.
Can you believe it?
And you all might call me diabolical for putting black olives on these, but that's how I like them. I also usually put a little Tabasco on mine too, forgot that. But they're still delicious. Better than fajitas.
No way! Boo this man!
Definitely missing Tabasco.
Are you though? Mm-hmm. I don't know. You don't usually put cheese on first. You said that today, but you've definitely put it on top before.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Because you like to make them like Taco Bell tacos.
Is that recording?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, everyone knows your secrets now, Brian.
You know where I don't go anymore?
Everyone knows Taco Bell.
Taco Bell.
All right, babe, I gotta give it to you. Those were some pretty good tacos.
Thank you.
Does that mean next time we get soft shell? Or fajitas?
Yeah, I guess. What about burritos?
Maybe.
You can do fajitas.
Things you're trading out of the van while you're at home base.
That is going to be seasonal items for sure. Seasonal clothing. We'll probably bring some snowshoes with us. Not sure how much we'll use them where we're going, but they might come in handy. Never know.
I would love to bring snowshoes. I would love to bring my split board, but that's just a little bit too big, I think, to carry in the van if we don't know if we're going to get a chance to go snowboarding. Right?
Yeah.
Why do you always put the legs of the awning in here versus putting them on the ground?
I think mostly it's just ease of when we get to somewhere and we just want to get set up. We don't typically leave the awning out overnight. And I guess instead of having to stake them down and worrying about when, I just put them there. But I will say when they are in here and they're at that angle, we do hit our head quite a bit. So I will probably start putting them on the ground more often. Just depends on wind and I guess how hard the ground is too where we're at.
Are you happy with your upgraded suspension?
I love the upgraded suspension. It is the Van Compass 4-point something. I can't remember the exact name. It came with upgraded rear spring packs, sumo springs, and then the piggyback adjustable struts. I guess they're really not struts, but you can set them stiff for highway driving, and you can set them for really soft for off-road driving, washboard roads, stuff like that. I'm very happy with the upgrade.
Are you concerned about the EGR valve issue recurring in Gertie since they only cleaned it instead of replacing it?
I'm not so much concerned as I'm glad they told me it's probably going to happen again. And if I need to do like a field cleaning, if we're out somewhere and it really gives us trouble, I know that I can clean it myself. But also knowing that it's covered under warranty, like I said, I would say concerned. It's good to know that what symptoms to look for.
If you had to buy another van, for example, if Gertie got totaled, would you get another 144 or 170 wheelbase? So we have the short one, the 144, and the 170s. They're attractive because there's a lot more that you can fit in with a 170.
Now that we've lived in this for 15 months. I can't think of too many places that we wouldn't have been able to park, really. That was one of the big concerns with getting the big one is you can park these shorter ones anywhere. I think I would go with the 170 next time.
There would be places that we couldn't off-road to. And we know that. But we also have the truck camper. So I agree. If we're going to be doing some real long-term travel across the United States, 170 seems pretty tempting. What would you change in your van if you could? And this kind of goes along with that question because in the 170 specifically, we would have a dedicated bathroom. I think one of the biggest annoyances, I guess is maybe a way to put it, is not having a dedicated shower. And here we have the dedicated toilet, but without having a dedicated shower, we really do have to stay at campgrounds, once or twice a week to get a shower, or we have to find public showers somewhere. And let me tell you guys, the public showers that you come across are not always the greatest. We do have a shower in here. This goes to another question. It is in the floor. We can set it up by putting in a little shower pan and hanging the curtain down from the ceiling. It's just not that convenient. It also means that one person is outside while the other person is showering. We're sitting in one of the front seats, the driver or the passenger seat. And if it's any sort of chilly out, cold, windy, you're going to be left with a wet shower curtain that you have to hang outside to dry. There's nowhere in the van for us to put that wet shower curtain. So conditions really do have to be good for us to be able to use it, which in that case, might as well just shower outside. Is there anything you would change from the van? Or another question, add or subtract something?
I would not have gotten our Starlink hardwired. Once we had that done, the performance went.
It tanked.
It's almost useless. It works in an emergency, in a pinch. We tried watching a movie the other night and we couldn't do it.
It takes me, so you guys have a little bit of perspective. It takes me 24 hours to upload a 20-minute YouTube video using the current Starlink. We have the Roam versus we got a Starlink Mini for the truck because we needed a way to communicate in that. I didn't like the fact that we had to buy another Starlink. I was pretty mad about that actually, but it takes about 15 minutes to upload a 20-minute video. So 24 hours with the bigger dish that is hard mounted in here and 15 minutes on the Mini. So this might be obsolete. We might just stop using it and we might just carry a Mini around with us and put it in the dash.
And I'm not sure if it was the conversion to convert it to the 12 volt or if it was where they put our modem in the van. Unfortunately, if they did stuff the modem in the van, it's behind all the paneling. We'd have to take the paneling off, the roof apart, the bed apart, and I just don't even know if it's worth it.
That's probably one of our biggest regrets.
Yep, for sure.
And it was not cheap to hard mount that Starlink.
It works in an emergency. That's
It does.
about all it's good for.
There were some times in Alaska and Canada, though, where I seriously wasn't sure if we were going to be able to get a YouTube video uploaded in time. Why don't you guys carry electric bikes or a motor scooter?
We did have electric bikes for a minute. For us, it was space. They definitely weren't going to fit in the garage. Even the foldable ones are pretty bulky and they're really heavy. I did just install a hitch on this, so we could put a bike rack on it now. I would love something motorized. I would just love something to cruise around, like dispersed areas, check out other sites, and like I said earlier, mountain biking, but maybe one day.
Would you build another Sprinter van or go with something different?
You know, if money wasn't an issue, there are definitely some other rigs out there that we've seen that I would go with. Earth roamer type things. I don't know if I'd spend the money on an actual earth roamer, but I've seen some camper vans that have been converted into 4-wheel drive and that slide outs, and there's definitely some stuff out there that, I don't know.
It's cool to see some new stuff come on the market. What are some of your spare parts that you take along, fuses, water pump, etc.?
Definitely carry fuses. We now have an extra water pump. I do carry an extra air filter, which has come in handy twice now. I do carry a little extra oil. I don't want to overdo it because we are limited on space, but I'm always thinking of that one little thing that might fail and could get us unstuck somewhere.
Yep. Better to be
That's
prepared.
about it.
How often do you need to fill your DEF, and what kind of range do you feel the Sprinter has?
When we're just driving, I probably get down to about half a tank of DEF within a couple of weeks. The range, if you're talking fuel, we get about 12 miles a gallon. That's what it was when we were driving up here today. I want to say when it's a full tank, it says around 290, 300, but that also varies with terrain, hills, stuff like that.
Any issues with brakes on steep declines, or do the paddle shifters work fine?
I really don't like riding my brakes, especially coming down hills. I love the paddle shifters in this thing. They take a little getting used to because it can be easy to go into first gear when you're going way too fast for that, but I do use the paddle shifters quite a bit. Never had an issue with the brakes getting cooked on me.
Let's finish getting cleaned up here and then talk about some daily routine questions we got. It is starting to get pretty cold and windy outside too. So I think we're going to move the rest of this Q&A inside the van here so you guys can hear us. Next question I've got is, you may have already addressed this in previous videos, but how do you shower? We already talked about that. What type of toilet do you use? And just a comment, I love the cooking portion of your videos. Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you. So for the toilet, we have a Nature's Head composting toilet. It actually works pretty well. We go about a month, I would say, in between needing to change the compost out. So it's just something to keep in mind. And between the two of us, probably need to empty the pee jug like once a day just to be safe. The timing of this question is funny. What is your skincare routine on the road? My husband and I are planning to start going some van life next year, and I know I need to simplify things like my skincare routine. What works for you? So funny you should ask, because I actually just asked this in a video that we posted last week, because my skincare routine on the road has been garbage. It's been garbage. So I've recently started using a new product line that I'll share more about in the future, but I'm using Olavita and Olive Tree People, and it's waterless. It leaves my skin feeling really, really good. I'll put a link down in the description to that as well. You can sign up and take a skin test if you're interested in learning more about that. I love that it's waterless, so it compacts down really, really small. The products themselves don't have like any water filler in them, so the jars and stuff don't take up a lot of space in the van. Honestly, probably a boring question. Emily, tell me about your footwear and leggings. Woman to woman, I need to know. Girl, you are after my own heart here. First of all, I spend money on footwear. I think it's important to have good footwear. And in the van, you can only have a couple or I have more than a couple different pairs of shoes, but some of my go-tos are my Blundstones, my boots that are easy to slip on and off. I absolutely love those. My Danner hiking boots, my Birkenstocks, my Bedrock sandal clogs. Those are great for the van. I also have a pair of North Face thermal slippers, which are so important in the van to keep your feet warm. Lastly, a good pair of shower shoes. Definitely don't want to be raw dogging any of those public showers. Brian says no. And as for leggings, I live in leggings, right? They're so comfortable. You never know when you're going to be able to get a walk in. This is where I don't spend a lot of money. I buy all my leggings from Old Navy, and I am not ashamed to admit that. The Power Soft leggings are so smooth and buttery soft. They're at a great price point. They have pockets and will cost you a fraction of what some of those more bougie legging brands might cost you. I'm not going to name it, but you know what I mean. Next one's for you.
Brian, what made you decide to shave your beard as winter approaches? I don't know why I'm the way I am. I know I do everything backwards, including my coffee. When it's hot out, I grow a beard. When it's cold out, I shave. I think just sometimes I like to feel fresh, and I think sometimes Emily likes a fresh face.
How do you manage mail and deliveries? Well, we're, I think, in a little bit of a unique situation because we did have family renting our house from us for the past year. They were checking all of our mail, and if we needed something delivered to the house, they were there to accept it. Going forward, though, we will probably be hiring somebody to do that. We'll have a property manager or somebody coming by our house and checking our mail for us. Deliveries on the road can be a little bit more challenging, though, especially as we're starting to work with more brands who want to send us their product so that we can try it out or incorporate it into videos. So if you do need to try and accept a delivery on the road, we've actually run into some issues with this before and having stuff sent back, but you can usually have it sent if you're ordering from Amazon. An Amazon locker is great. Or if it's something else, you can have it shipped to a UPS or a FedEx store. Just make sure to call ahead of time and see if they are what they call an access point and will accept those deliveries, because last thing you want to have happen, which has happened to us, is have something get all the way to the store only for it to be sent back. There's also some other great services online that you can find that will set you up with a virtual mailbox and actually scan all of your mail for you. I don't know off the top of my head the name of the service right now, but I'll also put that in the description down for you below. What equipment and software do you use to produce and make such great videos? Thank you so much. That is so incredibly kind of you to say that. It really does mean a lot. For filming, we use our Fujifilm cameras. The one I'm filming on right now is the XS20. It is a vlogging camera. Love this camera. I also have this one, which is new. This is the XT50, and this is more of a photo camera, but also works great for filming. Also use my phone a lot if we're in a public setting and we don't want to be taking out our cameras. I also have a DJI Osmo, which is an action cam. So if weather's really bad or we want to get those action shots of Wez and the Wez cam, it's perfect for those. And then lastly, I have a DJI mini drone, which is the Pro 3. I absolutely love that little drone. Super easy to fly, super fun to fly. And at the price point, it produces really, really, really great videos. As far as editing, I use DaVinci Studio. There is a free version of DaVinci that you can get. It is a wonderfully powerful editing program. Actually, they use it to produce a lot of Hollywood movies. And in the paid version, there's a few more bells and whistles. Actually, probably a lot more. I'm just using the very bare minimum because I'm all self-taught. I don't have no formal editing background. But it has a lot of great features like cutting out wind noise in the back. Doesn't work perfect all the time if you're in a really, really windy area, but does work pretty well. And then last question related to making our YouTube videos. I love this question. It's a really reflective question. How are you balancing enjoying the moments while still filming content? Well, sometimes, honestly, you just get caught up in the moment, and I forget to pull out the camera, and minutes later after something has passed, I'll kind of kick myself and be like, gosh, I wish I would have filmed that. Didn't get it at the time. I was too caught up in the moment, but it's also part of it. On the flip side, I've also, I think, missed being present for some moments that I would have really liked to have been more present for. You know, sometimes I'll be so worried about filming a sunset or some ducks on a lake with steam or mist rising from it in the morning hours that I don't really fully appreciate the moment until I'm editing the video days later and see exactly how special that was. So it's something that you definitely have to work on balancing. It is something I will always be working on, but to be able to do this and call it a job for right now is truly something I could not be more grateful for. We are entering what we're going to call the newlywed portion of this Q&A. So Brian and I have been married for 6 years. We've been together for 10, and we've lived in a van for 1. So I think if you look at it that way, are we still kind of newlyweds in the van space?
And I think it's good to say we survived a whole year in 61 square feet.
Yeah.
You're still my best friend.
You're still my best friend. So this suggestion came from a very fun viewer, and she suggested that we do questions like they do on the Newlywed Game. You know what that means?
That means I guess what you're going to say, you guess what I'm going to say?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we got a few questions.
Then we correct each other, I guess.
Yeah. Still look at what I'm writing, though.
I won't. You don't cheat either.
Don't, cheater. I feel like I'm at school doing a test. I didn't even ask the question yet.
It's okay.
What are you doing?
I'm waiting.
What item does your spouse insist on having on board the van that drives you crazy? So what would you say about me? What do I have?
Tools.
No.
Too many tools.
I mean, you have way too many tools. Bart Simpson, yes, it drives me crazy. I have to say that big old Lifetime table that you insist on bringing everywhere. This ugly white table that is everywhere. But yeah, you could scale back on the tools too.
Was it lunch awesome today though with that table? A nice place to prepare everything.
All right, I say you think I have extra clothes.
Not the extra clothes, it's where they go to get forgotten. It's a good idea. The storage pillow is a great idea, but those clothes go in there and they stay in there, and that thing is not comfortable to sleep on. We started throwing it up in the front seat after a while. Yeah, you're right.
Biggest pet peeve.
Napping.
That's up there, but I would have said socks on the floor.
Okay.
He leaves all his socks on the floor when he goes to bed. Brushing my hair over the drawer.
Ding, ding, ding. I love hair all over my toothbrush.
So we have a drawer right here that has all of our toiletries in it, including my hairbrush. And I never think about it. I open the drawer and then I start to get my hairbrush out. I start brushing my hair and the hair goes in the drawer. Worst mishap in the van.
I put water crossing, sad Gertie.
That was sad.
It all worked out.
Yeah.
We went into a water crossing and it was a little too deep. Water got in the intake. Had to change the air filter out and a couple.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
It was good. It was a good learning experience.
I guess I was thinking like in the actual van, so I put overflowed pee jug. It happened twice. All right, mountains or beaches? What do you think I'm gonna say? What do I think you're gonna say? Are you trying something? Oh yeah, mountains. I love mountains.
Beaches.
Brian's beaches.
Yeah. Nothing like a sunny day, a nice beach.
We compromise. Out of all the places you've been to together, what is your favorite? Kodiak.
Kenai Lake.
I love Kenai. I'm not supposed to give away our secrets.
It's not a secret. There's nothing secret about us. That was my definitely top 5 places I've ever been. I would say my top one, it doesn't really have anything to do with van life, but it was St. Croix, U.S. Virgin Islands, Sandy Point Beach.
Beaches.
Was just such an awesome day, such an awesome experience. The watercolor, the warm water, the white sandy beaches. As far as van life goes, Iceland. Iceland is just an amazing country. It's clean, it's safe, there's so much to see, and that's where van life started for us, really.
Yeah,
so
it is. Favorite national park?
I don't know if I'm going to spell it right. I'm just going to say Kenai Fjords.
Oh, I love Kenai Fjords, but I have to say Katmai with the bears. Katmai was my favorite national park.
Okay.
Because there's just nothing like that experience in the world, getting to see those bears. For you, I put Rainier.
Ooh, that's definitely up there too. Mine is Glacier, and I think because getting up to Bowman Lake, Holbridge, Bowman Lake, I've never seen sunsets or sunrises quite like that. It was during COVID, so it wasn't very busy, but that was just such a beautiful park. And to see those glaciers before they're gone forever was pretty cool.
Glacier is definitely up there for me. Favorite season in the van? I think you like winter because it means desert.
Yeah, I love being in the desert. I like the Four Corners. It is the best time to go down there, unless there's a major winter storm. I picked fall for you.
I love fall, yeah.
That's a close one. Fall and winter's, like, you can't beat the mountains in the fall when the weather's nice.
If you had an ultimate destination for your travels anywhere in the world, where would it be?
Anywhere in the world?
Anywhere in the world.
Norway.
Because it means I get to swim with wild orcas. Yes. Yes. Vietnam?
I was going to say Southeast Asia, just to spend some time. Yeah, I'd love to go to Vietnam. Tropical environments.
The beach.
I like the beaches.
If there was any place in the US or Canada that could make you permanently move away from Tahoe, where would it be? This excludes family and friends that would be keeping you otherwise there. Alaska?
I was going to say the Homer area, Kenai Peninsula.
Kenai Peninsula. Yeah, it's true.
There's just something about it.
There is. Maybe someday. All right.
That was fun.
I think we passed the newlywed game-ish.
We did good.
We will save this paper for scrap paper.
Well, and fire starter. And
I'll recycle it. All right, we've just got a couple of more sections. The next one is about future plans. All about our plans and how we travel. First question here is, you two seem to be packing up camp after a night or two, constantly moving. Are there any destinations where you plan to stay for a week or more? I think we are incredibly guilty of this. And part of that has to do with our timeline, knowing, you only get so much time in a specific place before the seasons change, especially when you're in places extreme like Alaska or Canada or even the American Southwest. You have very small windows of seasons to see those areas. And there's so much that we want to do in those areas that I think we really push ourselves to maybe take on a little bit too much. And to be honest, moving every day or every other day can really lead to some burnout. So I would love to spend more than just a couple of days at each location.
And with that said, a lot of that has to do with Wez also. If we know it's going to get too hot somewhere, we'll move. And same if it's just going to be cold. We like to chase better weather.
Yeah.
If not for us, for him.
That's a great point. Are you considering a meetup anytime soon? Probably not. We love the idea, and we have met lots of viewers and Patreons on the road who have become great friends. It's a little bit hard for us to commit to a large group meetup and organizing something like that and figuring out where we would all go and what that looks like, especially with Wez. You know, we want to travel with him as much as we can, as long as we can. And we have some pretty ambitious places that we want to go with him that we'll talk about here in a little bit that are preventing us from doing a meetup anytime in the near future. But I don't think it would be completely off the table for something in maybe the distant future.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, we would absolutely love that. And if you ever see us traveling through your area, say hi. We absolutely would love to meet you. Have you guys considered shipping Gertie to Europe and doing van life in the EU?
That was actually our second plan. We were really looking at getting the van to Europe, which is kind of a big deal. But then it came down to shipping Wez. We would never leave Wez to be quarantined anywhere more than a day or two.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, a lot of places require a lot more than that. And I just never do that.
No.
So Europe kind of went to the, maybe one day, but...
Maybe one day. And that ties into the next question. Have you considered going international with Gertie and El Jefe, aka Wez? Probably not going to be going international with him in the years that he has left. And hopefully there are many. We just want to make sure that they're the best for him.
Yeah. We were also looking at doing the Pan American Highway.
Yeah.
And we went down on just a separate vacation to Costa Rica, and we both realized there is no way we would put him through that heat. We don't have a rooftop air conditioner in this van. We scrapped that right away.
Which also goes in, people wanted to know if we would consider doing the Pan American or Baja, Mexico, Central America. Same exact reason. I think the heat and weather there is just unfavorable for our van and being able to have good living conditions for Wez. Do you plan on traveling to other parts of the country, like the East Coast or New England? Do you think you would need to use other resources as boondocking is more scarce to plan? Do you think you would need to plan differently than all the apps and websites you currently use that have loads of boondocking options out west? Yes, we really, really want to travel to the East Coast and New England. Maybe we'll answer another question first and then we'll get to that. Where are you all headed this winter? What's up next?
Well, y'all.
Y'all.
We are going to be traveling around Texas for a good portion of the beginning of the year with some really awesome friends that we made this summer. And then
we'll be going to Mardi Gras in New Orleans in February, which we will not be taking Gertie on the French Quarter or the streets of New Orleans, but we will be going there, which is super exciting. And we'd love to, during our winter travel, continue traveling east, but it really does come down to budget. As was mentioned, there is not a lot of options when you get past, let's say, Colorado going east. We'll look into it. There's Harvest Hosts that we are a member of. I know we could stay at Harvest Hosts across the country. Those are technically free. You pay for an annual membership, but then you need to patronize the business. And if you're parked in a brewery's parking lot or a distillery or winery or something like that, those can add up really, really quickly. Otherwise, it would probably have to be a lot of campgrounds. And so it does come down to budget, how far east we will continue to travel this winter. After Mardi Gras, we may decide that we want to be a little bit more conservative and head back to the Southwest. We were there last winter, but we really just scratched the surface of Utah, New Mexico, Arizona, Southern Colorado. So would love to go back to the Southwest if time allows. As far as continuing up to New England and the East Coast, which ties into another question we had, what are our plans for summer 2026?
Coming back at you, Canada.
Coming back at you, Canada, except this time we would love to head to the Canadian Maritimes. So that includes Nova Scotia, Newfoundland, Labrador. It all is really dependent on how Wez is doing and if he is still continuing to travel and have a wonderful time. And we feel like he's roadworthy for another big, big trip like that. That is our plan for next summer.
And then there's the possibility of Maine.
Yes, in the fall.
North Carolina is pretty awesome.
Yeah, I would love to see all that through the fall. So as long as we still have the wheels turning, we're able to keep doing this with our budget and Wez is happy and healthy, we will absolutely be coming at you East Coast and Canadian Maritimes. Well, that brings us to our final few questions that are what I'll call just reflections from the past year on the road. And these are some really insightful questions, and I think we saved the best for last. I hope that you guys think so as well. But what would you give as the number one advice for new van owners?
Start off as simply as possible as far as your build goes. And if you decide you really need something like a lift kit or aftermarket stuff, wait until you see what you really need, because nothing you do as far as upgrades goes is going to be cheap. There are things out there that you think you need them and then you don't end up using them.
The other thing I would also add to that, along the same lines of kind of starting out slow, is I would not recommend selling everything and jumping into van life with both feet. It's really something that you need to make sure that you're comfortable with and something that you see doing long term. Actually, this was advice that was given to us by the people that built our van. And it was, I think, the best advice that we could have gotten. And they said, whatever you do, don't sell your house. And their reasoning behind that was they had just gotten done traveling on the road for a year and were ready to kind of put roots down again and own a home. And when you are traveling full time on the road for a year, working for yourself, whether it be YouTube or whatever, content creation, it can be extremely challenging to try and get a mortgage. If you are thinking about van life, you want to do it, start out small, get a van, go out for some longer trips if you can. If your work will let you do some work remote, maybe a month on the road here, 2 months on the road there, get a feel for it and then really decide what it looks like long term for you.
And with that being said, I love this lifestyle. It's changed our lives. It's been awesome, but it's not always as glamorous as it might seem on social media. Do have challenges, and if you do sell everything and a year later you decide it's not for you, like Emily said, trying to get back into a house can be really difficult. So yeah, just kind of ease into it if you can.
And life happens too. We've seen this in our own lives, losing my parents at a young age. Like, you just never know what life is going to throw at you. And so being able to have a safe place to land anytime is so, I think, just really important. If you are in a position where you can't go out and do van life without you feel like selling your house, think about, is there a way to maybe rent it? Could you potentially rent out your house so that you're covering your mortgage, you're putting your stuff in storage, you're finding a cheap storage facility if you don't want it in your house otherwise, and starting that way to make sure that you're really comfortable before you just kind of sell everything.
Wouldn't take it back.
No, not at all. What kind of first getaway should we do in our van? Time, length, and distance. I think we're gonna, my favorite state for van life, hands down, especially going into this season where we're getting into the colder months, is Utah. If you can come, I know you're from Canada, if you can make it down to Utah or the American Southwest for your first trip, you could plan maybe a good 4 weeks or something like that, exploring Utah, Arizona, New Mexico. You might want actually a lot longer than that to explore those areas, maybe just 4 weeks in Utah alone, because there's so much you can see there. The abundance of public land there, the fact that there is so much free camping, so much outdoor recreation, so many things to do and see, really, I think, makes that attractive and super friendly as the first place to start van life.
I agree 100%. I would say the Pacific Northwest can be really awesome, but it can also be really, really wet. And it's not as dispersed camping friendly either. It can be a little more challenging. So yeah, I totally agree. American Southwest is a great spot.
Yeah, especially this time of year. Last question for today. Where did you see yourself 5 years ago, and where do you see yourselves in 5 years?
I'll let you start that one.
Yeah, a really great reflection here. 5 years ago, where we were 5 years ago, we were still not sure what was going on. We were in 2020, right? November now, I guess, 2020, in the middle of the pandemic. I had lost my mom in February 2020. And we moved in with my dad shortly after my mom passed. My mom was my dad's caregiver, and we didn't want my dad to have to go to assisted living during the pandemic. And we just felt like it was the right thing to do. So we sold our house in Tahoe. We moved in with my dad for a year, and we took care of him. And honestly, I wasn't thinking at that time about where we would be in 5 years. But it was a really, really hard and challenging time. I think it was the hardest time of our life, working full time, working remote. This is all still so new, and you're working like crazy. There's no boundaries between work and home. And we're also caretakers on top of that with my dad. All I knew was that I didn't want to do that working pace for the rest of my life. And then the following year, my dad had to go to assisted living. We lost him shortly thereafter. And that was, for me, the final, life is too short. Let's get out there. Let's see it. This world is big. It's going to get dark for all of us eventually. And I want to feel really good about the stuff that we did while we were here. That's where I was 5 years ago. Sorry.
You're okay.
We're real deep with that one.
5 years ago, it was a really confusing time and uncertain. I will say it was also when we really got into overlanding, though, because it was one of the only things we were allowed to do.
Yeah.
So that was kind of a silver lining for that whole thing, was it really got us into really enjoying the outdoors and, dispersed camping, overlanding, exploring. I didn't know we'd be doing this.
No. Where I see ourselves in 5 years is hopefully doing exactly what we're doing right now. I love nothing more than the community that this lifestyle has opened up for us. Connecting with all of you is such a special, special thing to be able to do. To hear your stories that we inspired you to get a van or take that trip or do something is... I never thought that I would be able to have that kind of impact on anybody in my life. And it is something that I'm truly grateful for and feels like I finally have found my purpose. And to be able to travel for a living too is not lost on us. It is the greatest gift that we could have right now. And I really do hope that we can turn this into something sustainable for the long term.
I agree. And something else we've talked about quite a bit. As an adult, it is hard to make friends, and we've got some great friends from back home, but we have made just some lifelong friendships meeting some of you on the road, and it's been awesome.
It's been amazing. Such a great thing. Well, with that, I think that wraps up our Q&A for today. We really hope you guys just enjoyed getting to know us a little bit more, hanging out with us while we made some tacos. Next time there'll be fajitas. And if you have any more questions that we didn't address, please drop them below. We'll probably think about doing a YouTube live here in the next couple of months, maybe around the holidays, to just connect with you all some more. So make sure to leave those comments for us. And we just love hearing from you guys. So from the bottom of our hearts, thank you so much for being here. We love you guys, and we'll see you on the next adventure out there.
Bye!